Friday's forecast. It's cloudy, with a chance of watermelons. You're listening to Lofi Poli Sci. Dr. P coming at you from Lo-Fi Studios, New Orleans. And how we doing out there, my people? What you got going on in your world today? And yes, indeed, we're getting it on this Friday, my friends, for it is Friday's forecast. That's right. The weather today is a high of 95 degrees with a dew point of 87.6 and a 20% chance of rain. Or as we like to say in New Orleans, grab your umbrellas because it is hot as hell out there. People, damn, it's so warm out. Get a cold beverage, stay in the shade, turn up that AC, and chill. Oh, that's it. Friday's forecast is over. Good night. Auf Wiedersehen. Farewell. Au revoir. Hasta luego. Oh, cut the music, man. Because Friday's forecast isn't about the weather. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Every Friday we're coming at you with a different deep dive of an episode, focusing on just one or two things going on in the world today. And that's right, today we're talking about watermelon and politics, aka drugs and politics. That's right. This week with the BBC, quote the headline, "Fake watermelons full of drugs fail to fool U.S. agents," end quote of the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation. And no. This is not fake news. This is a real story. So let's talk about it. A truck carrying fake watermelons tried crossing the U.S.-Mexico border. It was stopped, and the border agents found $5 million worth of methamphetamines, made to look like fake watermelons. Yes, look at the pictures, my friends. There ain't no way that anybody thought this plan was gonna work. It was over 2 tons of meth in over 1,200 individual packages. Now then, what other insight does the BBC article give? What do they offer for the reader to consume? Absolutely nothing. They talk about another drug bust and another drug bust, but this article is little more than clickbait. But it's true. This actually happened, but the article doesn't dig deeper into what's going on in the world today. Well, that's where Lofi Poli Sci's Friday's forecast comes into play. Because, you see, we're going to talk about why drugs would be shipped in this obviously fake watermelon way to the U.S. You know, what's the point, people? What is the point? Question mark. The cartels surely knew this would not work. It's not going to work. So why did the cartels do it? Why waste $5 million worth of meth? Answer: because number one, $5 million to the cartel is nothing. It's like paying a $5 parking ticket to them. $5 million just isn't anything. And second, because the fake watermelons, the news coverage of it, this was all smoke and mirrors. A smokescreen for the real deal. It's a misdirect. And a misdirect that helps U.S. border organizations look good. It makes local, state, and federal politicians look good in the area. It helps provide the persona that the U.S. is winning the war on drugs. And that we're not fooled by anyone and not fooled by these fake watermelons. LOL, lol, blah, blah, blah. The deal with the real. This is a payoff and a misdirection for a much larger shipment of methamphetamines that was disguised much more discreetly and was much larger and crossed the border in the U.S. without issue. This is in fact the same game that the cartels have always been playing, especially since the 1990s when they arose to power, as well as in the early 2000s, in the era of NAFTA, if you know what I mean. The North American Free Trade Agreement that allowed the cross-border goods and services to go back and forth between the U.S. and Mexico at hyper speeds. You know, it's good trade policy, free trade, and drugs start being able to be smuggled across the border far more easily because the sheer volume of cars and trucks and everything else going across the border has increased greatly. So, with more goods and more goods and more people and more people and more vehicles crossing the border, there's only so much police and politicians can do in the U.S. to check every vehicle, and every person. So if you're the cartels, you give the U.S. politicians and police organizations, you give them an easy win with some fake watermelons and a little bit of meth, and then you sneak in the main shipment across the border, whilst everyone else is focused on talking about fake watermelons. And the shipment, it was a shipment that was always supposed to be found. It's an old trick that's still working. Now the question, does the U.S. government know about it? The answer? Hell yes, they do. Next question. Then why don't politicians and border agencies do something about it? The answer? They can't. The amount of resources it takes to police the U.S.-Mexico border at our current levels is massive. Just massive, people. Just look at the size of the border and you'll see why that is. The financial cost associated with completely locking down the border to fully stop the flow of drugs, it would be an undertaking that the U.S. government and the U.S. voters would not be willing to pay for, monetarily speaking. Simple as that. Democracy paves the way. Free trade paves the way. The cost is simply too much. So Friday's forecast for the day, it's clouded with a chance of watermelons, if you know what I mean. And politicians, they're ready to tell you all about it. Eyes open, Lofi. Ears to the ground. Lots going down. Love you, Lofi. And this, just a snap of what's going on in the world today. I bring it down like Lofi Poli Sci is more than just me. It's the we that we be. Pickering, signing off.